Have you ever been driving along and you see a sign on the side of the road and it says, "Animals crossing here"? And you think to yourself, how could they possibly know that? How do they know where the animals are going to cross? Well, I'm going to show you a small patch of bush today that demonstrates these principles perfectly. Things like fragmentation, corridors and connectivity. And a few other little bits and pieces that are special to this site too.
Freshwater creeks around Cardinia Reservoir support a large amount of life such as wallabies, wombats, crayfish and birds. These creeks come together to form Cardinia Creek, which acted as a highway, allowing animals to have various resources as they look for a mate or move seasonally. Cardinia Creek brought together the mountains and the ocean and everything in between. As European settlement has occurred, this highway has been crisscrossed by roads and fences, which limits its ability to support indigenous flora and fauna. On a smaller scale, the now established Cardinia Reservoir and its connection to the fruitful Beaconsfield and Flora-Fauna Reserve is jeopardised. As we look closer, we can see this area is the weakest link in the chain. Like the pinch in an hourglass, this is where the creek, its flora and fauna, roads, paddocks and people collide. To the left you can see the open paddocks of the farmland turn into the trees along the creekside that animals need to move. As I cross this bridge, let's have a look underneath it. A well-worn track indicates constant movement in this area. Let's have a closer look again to see exactly what's been using it. Footprints indicate kangaroos or wallabies frequent this area. In particular, the paired footprints with no hand or tail marks indicate moving quickly through the area. At this particular intersection, indigenous animals are lucky as they have the ability to go under the road. In most instances, animals are forced over and become a statistic. But this site is not without dangers. Fishermen can interfere with the daily routine of fauna, and foxes are always on the lookout for food, waterbirds being the main source here. Wombat droppings also demonstrate the use of another animal using the corridor, and in particular, a healthy wombat. The large eucalypts we see on the sides here aren't present in the middle, and modified Melaleuca thickets are, and that's because roads aren't the only impact that could fragment or break up natural connectivity. Power line easements that require no trees to be present can shape the vegetation type too. Another effect we see in small sites like this is the fringe effect, which is basically how are neighbouring properties impacting on the borders, or connectivity. Here, weeds have been pushed back and plants put in to help secure the perimeter. Evidence of another iconic Australian that speaks loud and clear. An echidna was foraging through the reeve edge but quickly digs in. I'll see if I can get him out so you can have a closer look at one of only 2 mammals in the world that lay eggs. I don't know if you can see where this is going, but obviously he's done this before. Bare hands are not cutting it for echidna catching. An echidna is well suited to digging in with 4 feet containing long nails that point out, forming a solid grip in all directions. These feet are hidden under all those spikes, so a wise man would have to call it quits here. Previous footage allows us to see those long nails even on a juvenile. Don't worry, his legs aren't damaged, he's just getting some sun. Aside from fauna, there are many flora values here too. A mosaic of vegetation types containing flowers that provide food and plants that provide housing. Dainty herbaceous ground covers are dotted along the creek line like this maidenhair fern. Creeping and climbing messes of vines like this dodder laurel are parasitic and can kill their host, even large trees. They appear leafless, and Aboriginals used to use this plant as a source for food. Possibly the largest management issues here are weeds and visitor impact. Ironically, the two go great together. Weeds love disturbance. Angled onion has the ability to rapidly spread and dominate over winter when it comes up. Signage is in place notifying visitors that it is illegal to dump here, although people still find the time and the reasons to do so. Common fumitory is another weed in this area, not as dominant as angled onion, but it still threatens the ability of native orchids to come up, like these Thalamitra species, or sun orchids. In the next couple of weeks, they'll be putting out flowers that'll be great for photographers. A management plan has been developed by the Cardinia Catchment Landcare Group, and it has identified critical areas that need to be addressed to secure this vital section of the Cardinia Creek corridor. Weed control efforts are already showing great results, and once the revegetation starts to establish, the security and stability of these natural values will increase. Obviously, as we've seen, this security is largely based off those who come to visit.
So we've had a look at a few factors today that can jeopardise or secure natural values in a reserve such as this. Certainly in this instance, the stakeholders that are pitching in to give it a go are key to success. Next time you're out going for a walk, have a look around and think of the factors that affect your local reserve. It might not be that hard to pitch in and help out.